Okay, everybody. Well, I've had this Mahindra 1626 for about a year and a half now, and I really haven't done a review yet. We just got 14 inches of snow. So I know a lot of people on small acreages and pieces of property, they're looking at this mid-size, compact, subcompact tractor. A little bit above the subcompact. It's got a great lift capacity. Mine came with a backhoe, which I'll put in another video later. It's off for the winter. One thing that did come up though was there's no storage on these things, or at least the year I bought, 2018, didn't have any storage at all. So, I mean, it's got a couple cup holders, but anyways, I came up with a couple options. I know a lot of these guys are doing ammo cans on their tractors, and that's what I did. But I came up with something else, which is this over-the-hood rack. Now, it was just a rack that came off an old Jeep, and I know you're thinking, like, well, now you can't get into your motor compartment. Well, the cool thing about being a welder is, the old saying, if you're a carpenter, everything looks like a hammer. Well, if you're a welder, anything's whatever the heck you want it to be. So this is the option I came up with. So I took that old rack that came off the back of my old Jeep, and I just made a bracket out of 1.5 inch square tube, and came down to 2 bearings here across, and mounted those to the front brush guard. Now the whole thing will slide out of the way. Now I wasn't smart enough to make a video of me building this, but tractor's dirty, because I am in a weld shop. And then I just set it down on an old canoe kayak pad there, and secure it with a couple straps so it doesn't bounce around everywhere. Like so. And that gives me the option, which I know is important, the very important option of, you can carry tools and whatnot, but when you're out there working, you want some beverages of choice. So there, everything's right where it needs to be. Right in arm's reach. I did some other things on this tractor as well. I did add a couple ammo cans. Now, got one ammo can mounted here on the right side. There's already a couple bolts right here that fit just perfect. And this is, of course, where I can keep all my chain and recovery gear. And then I did one where the factory mounted toolbox goes, which is junk. I mean, the factory mounted plastic toolbox is just absolute garbage. It broke, I think, the first day I had the tractor. But of course, here's where all your hand tools and whatnot can go. Now, on top of that, I went ahead and wired up an accessory light there on top. It actually came from an old Harley Davidson build I was doing, Daymaker. And that has the ability to go 180 degrees. So I can go ahead of me or behind me if I'm backhoeing or snowplowing at night. The only other option I added to this was when I was doing that project, I wired up a 12-volt accessory right here. So I can use those old cigarette style lighters for charging my phones and whatnot. Anyways, like I said, we got about 14 inches of snow, and I'm going to spend the next couple hours plowing. I don't have chains on this. I don't have a ton of weight in it, but it does a really good job. I'd like to get a rear, blade for this eventually, or even a front snow pusher. But right now I'm just using the box bucket, and it works pretty good. So hope you enjoyed. I will post some pictures and some other ideas as I come up with them. But as far as the Mahindra goes, I've had 0 problems. This thing runs like a top. This one's just underneath the DEF regulations, of 30 horsepower. So it's not the biggest, baddest tractor in the world, but it sure gets the job done. So. Well, as you can see, using a Mahindra 1626 works pretty well. It'd work a heck of a lot better if I had a snow blade. I'm at a good stopping point. I'm gonna warm my mittens up, get something to drink, and probably go plow the neighbors out. So there we go. Mahindra 1626, pushing snow with your bucket. Now, I'd like to clarify. This Mahindra 1626 gets it. It gets the job done. Now, this isn't the biggest or baddest piece of equipment you can buy, but for those of us that are in the market for a mid-range utility tractor, this does a really good job, especially at the price point. Now, I got mine with a backhoe, and it's done every job I've asked it to do. They've also did a really good job at giving you just enough horsepower to get the job done without having to have a DEF system. Remember, if you're in the market for a piece of equipment on your property, you could go out and get a Bobcat, skid loader, etc. that will do twice the amount of work. But these are like a Swiss Army knife at a fraction of the cost. The way I see it, Mahindra 1626 is a perfect mid-range tractor.